Good morning and welcome to Halftime with Hamish, the show about all things sports, except for the lawn bowls. Now welcome to the Saturday morning super special, where we look back on all the games from Rugby World Cup 2011, NRL Grand Finals, as well as what else has been happening in the sporting world from around the globe. Now first up, we're going to look at Rugby World Cup. Out of Pool D, South Africa took on Namibia during the week. South Africa running out comfortable winners 87-0. Now that was the first clash between two African nations in Rugby World Cup history. Namibians put up a big fight for the first half, but fitness levels and superior skills from the South African team, a few late second half tries, not unlike a few other results with the Minnows taking on the big guns in the tournament. South Africans managed to run away with that one. Out of Pool C, last night we had Australia taking on the USA. USA run wholesale changes throughout their team, about 10 changes to the side. What was, I guess, their perceived A team. So not putting out their strongest side, the USA, but still competing in this game, 67-5. The major talking point about this game, though, is the massive injury concerns to the Australian team. Most notably within the midfield, we had injuries to Rob Horne, Pat McCabe and Anthony Feinger, all out of the midfield, as well as Kurtley Beale and Wycliffe Palu, who's just come back from a long-term injury. So just a small niggle for himself and Beale. Let's see how they pull up after the next week or so to see if they'll be taking part in the latter parts of the tournament. The tournaments of Horne and McCabe would seem over. Feinger was just knocked out, so he hopefully will pull back. He may just need a week's rest from that game. Reviewing the upcoming games for Rugby World Cup 2011, today we have England taking on the Romanians. You would expect the English to be far too strong on this occasion. But the big matchup tonight, New Zealand taking on the French. What will decide ultimately who is the winner in Pool A, taking the tough road through against all the Southern Hemisphere teams. The loser will obviously get the easy run. However, the All Blacks will still be putting on their best 15, their strongest performance, and I really hope they can take it to Le Bleu for a really dominant performance, just to send a bit of a message out to the rest of the teams in the World Cup. The All Blacks, we're gonna have 100% high standards, and we're going to be winning all these games. So look out. Next up in the NRL 2011 Grand Final series from last night, Manly taking on Brisbane. The fairy tale of Darren Lockyer is no more. Brisbane going down 26-14. A great fight back, however, they were down 16-0, but just seemed to lack a little bit of leadership without Lockyer on the field. Not quite sure where those big plays were coming from. A few lovely chips from Matt Gillette, but just not to the same standards of what you would expect from the man Darren Lockyer. A great game last night. Manly look very strong. I think they'll be very hard to beat next week's Grand Final, no matter who they take on. That being out of the Melbourne Storm or the wonderful Warriors. Go the Warriors! Can't wait for tonight's match. Should be a beauty from down in Melbourne. Also from in Melbourne, last night we had the first of the major semi-finals for the AFL. A really tight affair, this one, 68-65, so a slightly low-scoring affair. Collingwood taking it out over Hawthorn. Hawthorn would rue that fourth quarter performance where they just could not put Collingwood away. In other sporting news this weekend, we'll look forward to the Singapore Formula 1 Grand Prix to see if Sebastian Vettel can continue the strong form shown throughout the season. Now, in other news, guys, just remember, send us in your fan photos, send us in your All Blacks 22 for the first quarter final, and you could win one of these awesome footies. So, first 22, fan photos, Saturday morning, good to catch up with you. That's the wrap.